Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And in this video, we're going to address the Gauntlet 2. As everybody remembers, this Gauntlet. Well, we're going to change the Gauntlet 2 also. It's not a really nice stock. I'm not a big fan of it. Simply because it's just too big and bulky. So we're going to do something to change this Gauntlet. Now, this is not going to be the absolute permanent fix to my problem. I would eventually like to eliminate that stock and build a new stock for it. And I haven't decided how I want to do it yet. I don't know if I'm going to 3D print one. I don't know what I'm going to do. But for now, just to make it at least where I can stand to look at it, I've got it all apart here, and I'll show you what we got going on. Don't forget to have your Trump coffee. All right, so now we've got everything laid out here. This didn't go to it. And we had to take the scope off in order to get this piece off. And I needed to re-sight it in anyway because I had taken the UTG off of it and put my West Hunter scope on it. And how I'm getting scratches on stuff is beyond me. I must be a scratch monster. But anyway, we've got it all apart, and we're going to do several things with this Gauntlet. First, we're going to do something about this stock. I just don't like this field of, it looks to me like it's like a dark tan with a green tint to it, and it's just an ugly color. You know, it wouldn't have been so bad if they would have maybe done some designs on it or something, but it's just plain Jane. You know, they could have painted the letters maybe, you know, the UX for Umarex, and they could have painted the inside of this. But we're not going to go into detail on that much. But while we've got this apart, we want to address some of the issues that we can see that needs to be changed. And one piece in particular needs to be changed. And that is this right here, the cheek rest. Although it's not a bad cheek rest, yes, it's a little flimsy and, you know, but it still serves a good purpose. The only problem with this is these studs are not long enough to get any kind of adjustments out of this thing. You barely move it up and you're off of the stud. So these studs need to be longer. Well, I'm not sure how to do that, simply because I think they melted those into the pockets because they don't unscrew, or at least I haven't been able to successfully unscrew them. I've tried grabbing these and unscrewing them, and it just feels like it's trying to break the plastic. So there's probably splines in this thing and is encased inside this plastic. So in order to do this cheek rest correctly is 3D print a new one of these that's the same identical shape, which I've already done. The only thing that I did wrong is I put these in the wrong spacing apart. So I got to 3D print another one. Now I've been working on this piece and it looks almost like it. Yes, it's a little squared off there on the top, which I will address. This was just the very first one, so we need to go in and adjust my print. I basically got the the bottom part correct, and there's going to be filing to do on it, but this one's a solid one. Yeah, it's going to add a little weight to it, but we may take some out of this. The reason I didn't do any holes in the inside of it is when you print, you're going to create a overhang on the inside of it, and you'll have to put supports in it, and being that it's a blind pocket, you're probably going to have a fight getting that out. So we're not going to do that. So when you put this down in there, if you look down in the hole, right there is as far as you can go. Well, I need to go to there. Well, when I'm there, the screw is not going to hit the post. So these posts need to be longer. So I have been working on this other piece, and what I'll do in the adjustments on the printer is do a slant right here on each side, and then do a round part on the top like that. So that's basically just taking a square, cut out a round hole, set it down on there, and then cut that out. But anyway, I got to readjust these holes because I didn't get them in the right location. They're just enough off that I can't get this to line up with those holes. But other than that, man, once I round that off right there for that contour, this is pretty much the cheek rest. So, but anyway, so then for now we're going to live with this. Now I was thinking about doing some camouflage with spray paint and water. I'm not sure how I want to do this yet. Hell, I may just give up on this and say to hell with it and go build a stock out of wood. I'm not ready to go that far yet. So we're thinking that we're going to prime it with this color. It's a lighter color, and it's a primer, bonds to plastic. So we're going to use this as our base. Alright, that will spray this, everything that we're going to camouflage. My mag holder, which mounts right there, and because this 3D plastic, 3D printed plastic, leaves lines in it, and we want to make this look nice, not ugly. So we're going to camouflage this also. We're not going to do the Picatinny rails. I'm debating on this. This we can do later, so we're not going to do that to start with, and we'll see how it looks with the camouflage and black. We're going to do the barrel brake also. So we got those parts. Then I have to make a new one of these. This is a 3D printed adapter that I used. This goes in the end of the barrel shroud. So I just took and threaded that for 1/2 and I made this on the 3D printer to thread into there as an adapter, but I want to make this out of aluminum, so that's going to be a little difficult, but we'll get her. But we got to make that piece, and we're going to camouflage that, or dip, and we're going to do this barrel band also. I'm certain of it. So then, while we've got the gun apart, we want to inspect everything to make sure that everything's good, nothing's broke. Now, if you remember on the very first Gauntlet, the air stripper was famous for being busted right here on the side. So this was the first thing that I wanted to inspect to make sure that it was good. And this should just slide right on. And it does. So yeah, I can make this one out of aluminum, but this one's not broke. It looks pretty good. So I think this here would work just fine. So we're going to leave that part alone. And I think we may do something about this knob. I'm not real sure that I'm keen on that knob. Yes, it's a big one, but I'm not into big knobs. This is sticking out way too far, but we're going to have to find out how it's going to set in this to decide if I want to address that or not. I may address it. It's just too far out there for me, because when I cock these, I grab it with these two fingers and my thumb on the back here, and that way I can get a good pull on it. But because it's sticking out there so far, it throws your trajectory off. So this knob needs to be in a little closer to the breech so I can get some leverage to pull this back, because this thing does have a serious hammer spring. So then we'll inspect the cones, and they look pretty decent. There's 4 of those. They went from the cigar type to the cone type, which was a good deal, and this Gauntlet's not that bad. Not loud at all. So let me put this back together, and I'd like to do the scope shade also. Not this one. I've got some of these that don't have anything on them. They're just black all the way around. This one's got the West Hunter or West Lake on it, so I really don't want to mess with that one. I may do a wrap on this, I don't know, like I did the Pro. I don't know yet. We got options, plenty of them. We're not going to do anything with the shroud because I don't want too much camouflage. So let's move all the pieces that we're not going to do out of the way. Now, I had also entertained this idea, but as you can see, I put the holes in the wrong place. Actually, that's the wrong side. That one I got right. It's the other side I got wrong. But we was thinking about making a plate like that to put on this after we did the camouflage. We're going to mask this off, and we're probably going to mask this off. I don't know if I can get that out. If I can get it out, I'll take it out. I'd rather take it out, but I don't want to destroy it and put gouges on it, because it looks like what they've done is pushed it in and snapped it in place, and it's pretty much a get in but you don't get it back out. I haven't figured out how to get the butt pad off of it. It's got 2 holes here in the end. Some of them have a tiny slit across in an X pattern, so you can get a screwdriver in there, but it's not that big a deal for me to just mask this off and be done with it. So then we made this piece to go on this side, and as you can see, I put the hole in the wrong place. So then I did this one. That's supposed to match. See, did I get the right one? So we got that, and we got that in its place, but it's still in the wrong place. Because if you can see, the top one here is sticking out further forward than the bottom one. So we need to even these up. I should have done these in together, but I didn't. I thought I was smart. But trial and error, guys. I tried this hydro dip and this stuff. I can't get it to work right. It just makes big old clumps. It dries too fast. This is what I wanted to do, but now I don't have enough of it to do this. So yeah, I probably could live with the lumps and lines and grooves, but even if I did want to try this, I just don't have enough to do it. I would be none here, and we're just not going to do that. So I've never been able to do a successful dip like that. Make sure that when you take your gun apart, you keep all your parts together. In fact, I'm going to take it a step further. There's nothing worse than taking a gun apart and then not be able to put it back together. So we're going to dump all these parts in this little box here, because this box locks. This was some scope rings I got. Anyway, we will get set up in the shop and go from there. Well, hello again. Y'all back for more? Alright. Anyway, now we're out here to the shop, and I've started masking this off, and I just masked off the butt plate because you just can't get it off. And I don't want to damage it because I don't know this little secret to getting it off. There has to be a way to get it off. Otherwise, there's no way you can get in there to replace that rail that's inside there. There's a rail that goes inside there that's threaded and has the threads for the cheek rest. So I'm not going to worry about the heads of these screws because, I mean, it's going to be camouflaged all through anyway. We're going to try to do this. We're going to try to dip this. I don't know how this is going to turn out. It may be a shitstorm that I'll just have to figure out another route. I'd like to eventually build a wooden stock for this, and I want to eliminate this, and I want to eliminate that bulge right there. I've never seen a gun with a bulge like that. This must be one healthy frickin' stock. It's all man. But, I mean, it just, I don't like it. Plus, I want to be able to put a wrap on my bottle. I like that wrap. It makes things look nicer. And it actually, I noticed that it quietens the air sound. So it's acting as an insulation anyway. But what I've done, it had some white letters here, or tan letters, that the warning label, and I just wanted to keep that. So I just cut a piece just where it's just overhangs, so that when this is all done, you peel that tape off, it will blend right in. It should, we hope. I did break this, and this is a prime example as to why I didn't want to do this to the buttstock, is because I broke this thing. Nobody tells you how to get that out, and it should be self-explanatory. So I got a little nick in the side of it because when I put my screwdriver underneath of it to pull that out, see, if I would have known that those had studs in them like that, there's one supposed to be one right here, but it broke off. It's in here. So I'm going to have to probably glue this back in, which ain't a big deal. In fact, that was broke too. So I'll probably just glue this back in and be done with it. Just break that one completely off and just glue it in, because it is recessed. But I didn't want no whatever we're doing for the paint scheme to be on this plastic. I wanted that to stand out on its own because it's got the logo on it, and it kind of breaks things up a little bit like the butt pad. So now we got to mask this part off, and this is basically, I got to make a round piece of tape and then cut a flat on each side of it to put on that, because I don't want no paint on it. So that's the only thing I got left to do on that piece. Now I've already painted the barrel band, and I'm getting a little leery on it, but this is the color that we're using, and this is the paint that we're using, and I'm telling you, Rust-Oleum is starting to piss me off. They used to be the best, but these damn type nozzles, they get clogged up really, really bad. I'd say 7 out of 10 cans that I get, these here stop working immediately, if they even work at all. But anyway, this is the color we're going to do our base coat. This is a, it says Paint Plus Primer Ultra Cover, so it's really thick, and at least it's coming out thick. When I replaced this nozzle, this is the second nozzle. I put a new one off of another can, hoping I don't ruin it for the other can. So I put this one on there, and it sprayed beautifully. Then it started spraying really heavy blotches, so I think this paint just ain't no good. Rust-Oleum American Accent. But it says bonds to plastic, so this is a barrel band, and we're going to camouflage dip all these parts. And I got to put a second coat on this one anyway, so we'll get to see what it does. See, now it's spraying right. See, now it started spraying heavy. And I shook and shook and shook this thing. This is my mag holder that's going to go on the side, and it goes on with like an M-lock goes on. Alright, this here is the original cheek rest. And it goes on, it slides into them holes really loosely. And they're not supposed to. There's a shrink fit in there that squeezes against this, and this is not big enough to utilize that option. So I went and remade one of these. I made a 3D printed version that is solid infill, and so this is the one that I made. The reason that I made this one is for two reasons. This is cheesy and plastic, and just, I mean, it's all plastic, but it's the way the plastic is. They could have filled that in, it wouldn't have bothered nothing, because there's really no useful area for that except to save money, to give you less plastic. So, but anyway, I want it to work. I don't care how much plastic it takes. Uh, so I had a problem with this one being able to get it up high enough so I could have my eye relief right where it lands right at my cheekbone. Because this is right where I land, on my cheekbone. Some of mine I land about right here, but I like to try to get in that cradle so it's comfortable, so you can relax. So when I went to raise it, you can only raise it, let's see, that far right there. That's about 10 mil, I think I measured it, 10 millimeters is all you can raise that. That's not near enough. I need that to be up about right here. Well, actually, probably about right there. But right there, you run out of the screw hitting the stud. So these needed to be longer. You have all that hollow stock. There's no reason they couldn't have made those longer. Look how long mine are compared to theirs. So now I have plenty of travel and it'll still go clear to the bottom. And mine has a press fit. Each one of those, because my shaft is just a hair bigger. I think I use standard where those are metric, and I just used the next size up in standard from metric. So it's kind of got an O-ring or something, or rubber or something in there that goes up against it. I tried these individually, and they have a nice press fit. So, and they're lined up perfect. 80 millimeter .31 apart from each other. That's how precise I got. So instead of me making this a press fit, it's going to loosen up. So I decided to put set screws in it. So I just milled that out with a milling bit and milled this to from 80 millimeter .31 apart from each other, and then I put 2 set screws on it, and I've made the holes 20 millimeters deep. So then I moved the hole over 10 millimeters, so I'm in the middle of the 20 millimeter clearance I have inside there. So now this is a lot of parts that can be interchanged later on. Let's say, for instance, I want to go make another cheek rest, a different design. I have the poles I can take out of it and just switch it over. So it just makes more sense. So we put this in here, and then we've got our screws that tightens it down. You don't loosen these, and I've got them in the exact same spot where the rest of them are. So they're lined right up with each other. But we're not going to do, I don't think we're going to do this. We might do this. I want to check it first after I've painted it and put it on there and see how it looks. Then if it looks okay, then I'll just duplicate what I did to do these. Because it'll all be there ready for me, the bucket of water. And I've chose a big old pail, which is on the back porch right now, but that's probably where we're going to do this, on the back porch, if the weather ever permits it. And we're going to try to dip this with different colored, well, camouflage. See what happens. We can't really destroy it. Anything's going to be unique. And I've had accidents that look better than the ones on purpose. So, but eventually we're going to have another stock that actually stops right here, but it's going to have something to transition the wooden stock to the block, because we want to still be able to utilize these holes here. It just depends on where it comes to on the block. I haven't really looked at it yet to see where it comes to, because it's in the house and I'm out here. So once I figure out where the block goes, we might try to redesign that. I don't know. Otherwise, you would have just the one screw, which is fine. The gun's not that powerful that we need to have any more than one screw. Uh, we're going to try to get 3 screws, the bottom and the sides. We may transition aluminum to it or something. Maybe I might 3D print something that looks a little better, designed a little different maybe. I don't know. I'm rambling. And I'm not getting nothing done. So let me get this masked off and we'll be back. Well guys, I decided to show you how I go about masking that off. And it's really simple. I find me a washer that's the same size as that circle. And then I get me a piece of tape that is bigger than the circle, which the only thing I got is this fine line tape. And I'll just take that, and we don't want to press it on there too awful hard because you don't want to take all your sticky off and put it on the washer. So we'll just cut that down a little bit. You believe I just checked to see if I had it recording? And then I'll just take and cut around that. And it doesn't have to be perfect, even if you got a little bit of jagged edges or anything like that. And really all you need is now we have, well, it stuck a little better than I wanted it to. Now watch, it'll never stick again. And then I'll take it over to the magnifying glass and then I'll just cut a real slight square off of that. So now I have a piece of tape to cover that with. And that keeps water from getting inside there and collecting. We definitely don't want water inside the stock. That part anyway, because you got stuff in there that's threaded, so we don't want no water getting in there. For as fast as we're going to be dipping it, it's not going to have a lot of time to get around that edge, but you know, you're going to get something in there, I'm sure. So we're ready to paint this thing, man, I believe. We ain't worried about it up in there because we can take the air nozzle and blow that out before we put this broken piece back in. So we'll hang her up here and start spraying. We're gonna hopefully get a good clean, the tip looks okay. Alright, we want to go in this motion. We don't want to go this way. We want to go this way. Oh my God. Well guys, we're getting ready to get an accidental beauty spot. Look what's happening. And I cleaned that plastic. You know what? It's actually putting a design in it. You guys might be witnessing something here right now for the first time, just like I am. I've actually had accidents like this that turned out to be the most beautiful piece I had. That might work. I'm going to show you guys close up what this thing's doing. It's actually looking pretty cool. It's giving it texture. Because everywhere that the paint is dark is really heavy. And every place that it's like a dark is really light. So it's got craters in it. And I actually like it. That's going to go well with the dip. That actually looks pretty cool. So you guys are witnessing for the first time, just like I am. Now you notice that it did not do that in the, well, it might have did it a little bit, but it's not so noticeable in the grip area where it's got the texture. But everywhere that it's slick, it's actually doing that. Damn, I wish the other plastic would have done this. I'll never repeat it. But see, it didn't do it as bad in here in this area. It just did it on all the flat surfaces. Maybe I put it on too heavy. Sometimes, man, a really dusting, some paints you gotta do a real light dusting. But now we've got to paint this part. And this we don't have to mask nothing on it. It's ready to go. So, but I'm not going to do anything different to this one because I want it to do the same thing that it did to that. Because once I do my pattern in my dip, that's going to make it look even more in depth. But I don't like this thing. I hate this thing. And I'm going to try to get away with it. If it looks okay without this, I may not put this back on it. I'll just make me an end cap that's designed to transition everything and have it bolted on to right here where the this part bolts on. In fact, I can make it look exactly like that and just make like a cone down here at the bottom. You minus all that right there like that. Just have this section here or something. Not this, but a 3D printed part that I made. But I liked how that worked. So I'll get set up and we'll go ahead and paint this one and see if it does the same thing. Yeah, it's doing the same thing. Cool. Yeah, you guys are witnessing miracles at the Bison Workshop. Don't you forget that. Now I'm in the mood for a smoke, a cigarette. Yeah, that's going to look pretty tough. That blended in with the other. So that'll end this part of the Gauntlet stock upgrade or modifications or whatever you want to call it. I'll figure it out by the time I title this video. But we're going to start with the lighter color. Unless I have to do this, I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to, I'm printing out a new one because in the new one, This one here I had to round off with a file. Well, I forgot this is not 100%. I think it's like 75% infill. So it's still not solid enough to actually use for tapping. So I've got one that I'm going to be printing that I rounded this off up here on the top. Basically, I just took all this off right here and all this down to the top of this. And so this is all round. And I made that radius there, which was a 13 millimeter round radius to cut that out. So, because I didn't get it filed real good, and it's still a functional piece. There's nothing wrong with this. It's working just fine. I just want to round that edge off for mine. If somebody wanted to buy this one, if I got done with it, it actually looks pretty damn cool the way it is. The sides need to be sanded on it and nice and smooth finish put on it, and the front needs to be sanded a little bit to kind of bring that down. I forgot to take and change my steps, and I always set them for the highest, but sometimes I forget and it shows up in the print. So I did that on both of these two round pieces. So but then this top has lines, and they're really uniform lines going across it. So it actually looks like it was put there intentionally. So basically all I'm going to do with this one is just I'm going to round that off instead of having a hex. I'm going to round it on this one and use it until I get the other one done. So the only thing I have to do with the other one is just take these out, get me another set of set screws, leave these two in this one, I'll have a spare, and put the new one on it and thread it. And we're done. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. You guys have a good one. Later.